Welcome home, Cojourners. I'm glad you're here for another episode. I'm Dr. Thema, licensed psychologist, ordained minister, and sacred artist, here to facilitate your journey back home to yourself. And we want to start this week's episode, as we often do, with a reading. This week, our reading is from my book, Reclaim Yourself, the Homecoming Workbook. Reclaim Yourself. And it reads from the introduction. To come home to yourself is to make the radical decision to choose your authentic self daily. To come home to yourself is to welcome breath, song, dance, laughter, tears, truth into your life perpetually. I am so glad you are ready to stop pretending, contorting, and disguising yourself. The invisible, emotional, and spiritual labor of self-erasure is expensive. It costs you time, integrity, health, and purpose. You are deserving of an authentic life. Some people automatically get to show up in truth. They are told to take up space and make their voices heard, while others are pressured into silenced invisibility. I invite you to resist that programming. I invite you to break the chains that have caused you to live a marginal life with hidden wings and leashed dreams. In this season, may you become unleashed, unconfined, and uncompromised. You are worthy of a full, abundant life, which means you get to show up in truth and freedom. You get to show up in truth and freedom. Yes, I am excited that each of us are reclaiming our lives so we can live authentically and abundantly. And on today's episode, we want to focus on resisting manipulation. Don't take the bait. Resisting manipulation. Don't take the bait. And so this saying around taking the bait is often used as people think about fishing. This notion that people will dangle something on a hook to try to get you in so that they can then destroy or humiliate or embarrass or break your spirit. And so we do not want to give time, energy, effort in responding to people who are attempting to manipulate us. And so I want to give you a number of strategies so that you can hold on to the truth of yourself, so that you can live in freedom and not be a puppet on the strings of manipulative people, so that you will not be on the hook as a result of taking the bait and entering into exchanges that will not be fruitful, that will not be productive, that will not lead you to be in alignment with your purpose. And so I invite you, as we think about preventing and resisting manipulation, to first take cleansing breath at your own pace, inhaling in through your nose and exhaling out through your mouth. So as you consider the ways you can avoid or prevent or resist manipulation, the first thing I will say is the importance of working on your self-esteem, to be in a place where you feel good about you. Because when I am feeling insecure, I am more vulnerable to manipulation because I am seeking other people's approval. I'm seeking their validation. I'm seeking for them to define me in positive terms. When I am clear about myself, about my esteem, about my value, about my humanity, then I am less vulnerable to other people's opinions and assumptions and judgments about me. When I am clear about myself, when people dangle insults in front of me, I will be less likely to feel the need to defend myself, to engage with them, to stop and give it energy because I am clear about me. So I invite you, if it aligns with you, to declare out loud, I am clear about me. And if that doesn't feel true for you, but you are on the process of that, you can say out loud, I am gaining clarity about me. I am getting clear about me. And when I'm getting clear about myself, I don't have to take a poll vote. I don't have to have a focus group to see what does everybody else think. But I am engaging in an internal process to become more clear about myself so that I can value myself, so that I can appreciate myself. And so resisting manipulation in part is going to start with the interior. Having self-esteem does not mean I falsely believe I'm perfect. We are not perfect, but we can still see ourselves as a work in progress that is deserving of respect, that is deserving of truth, that is deserving of freedom. So we engage with our internal process of appreciating ourselves. And then secondly, it's going to be very important that I recognize manipulation when it shows up. When I am not operating in truth and I am dealing with people who are not operating in truth, then there can be a lot of misinformation, disinformation, lies, and falsehood. People can engage in tactics and strategies to try to get me to do what they want without asking directly for what they want. And so we want to pay attention to the motives, the intentions, the patterns of other people. We want to recognize the way they show up in our lives, the way they treat us, the way they speak to us, the way they speak about us, so that you will trust that internal radar that allows you to see when something is not coming from a place of integrity, but instead is coming from a place of manipulation. And so I hope you will begin to see when people are speaking to you in a way that is demeaning, dishonoring, that is an attempt to get you to operate in alignment with their goals for you as opposed to the truth of you. And so in order to recognize manipulation when it shows up, it is important that we take sacred pause before responding. When we are impulsive or feel we have to respond immediately, those of us who struggle with people pleasing will automatically do what is being requested of us directly or indirectly without really considering, where is my heart in this? What is my desire regarding this? Can I honor myself? Can I honor my inner voice? Can I honor my wellness and my peace? And so when people approach you with energy, whether in social media or in person, on the job, in faith-based communities, in community-based organizations, in the institutions in which you operate, in social settings and parties and supermarkets. When people show up and are revealing themselves, often you need to give it a pause so that you can register the truth of the moment, so that you can register and discern what is happening here without you needing to jump to a certain response. And so we work on our self-esteem. We start to recognize the tactics and strategies and patterns of manipulative people, and we give ourselves pause before responding. It will also be important to set boundaries. People who are manipulative often want to control your time, your energy, your gifts, your space, your resources, including your finances. And so instead of letting other people set the guidelines for your life, it is going to be important that you recognize your authority and your responsibility to be a caretaker of your own soul, to be a caretaker of your own mind and body, your mental health and your spiritual health, to be a caretaker of your own budget. And so once I recognize that that is my responsibility, then I won't wait for other people to express what my boundaries should be, or for other people to dictate what my yes and no should be. But I am able to determine and discern that for myself. I know that there are seasons of your life and perhaps people in your life who will show up with a controlling spirit, with a controlling personality. And it is important that this be your season of emancipation, where I free myself from following the scripts that other people write for me, that I free myself from the shoulds that have been determined by people outside of me who therefore are living a different life than me. For other people, their boundaries will be different. Their rules will be different, not only for you, but also for themselves. And so I get to take the seat of decision maker in my own life and get to start determining some boundaries to recognize, am I tired or do I feel energized? Am I inspired or motivated to want to do something, or am I operating out of obligation but not a free will or a free desire? Am I being moved by what other people want from me while dishonoring or ignoring what I want for me and what I need for myself? I invite you in this moment to take a sacred breath, because I know for some of you, you have never been encouraged to use your voice and your agency because other people benefited from silencing you and disempowering you. But as we enter this journey of reclaiming ourselves, it's going to be important to recognize that for some of us, we are claiming ourselves for the first time, that perhaps you were never encouraged to set boundaries. But today is the day, and this is the season of your growing, of your healing, of your thriving. This is your reclamation season where you reclaim your voice and your power to determine your boundaries and to make some decisions for yourself. And so as we think about Setting boundaries, the second part of setting boundaries is enforcing those boundaries. Because sometimes we say in our minds or we say to the person what some boundary is, and people who are manipulative often don't obey the boundaries, don't follow the boundaries. So if you say no, they will still try to insist. They will still try to convince. They will still try to guilt trip you. They will still try to pressure you. And so it will be important for you to honor the boundaries that you have set. Now, a part of that is going to be developing your assertiveness. Developing your assertiveness. So with my assertiveness, I can speak up for myself and I build my courage and confidence to use my voice. But even as I'm talking about using your voice, I want to encourage you to not over-explain. When we feel we have to give 10 different reasons and justify it, that is leaving the door open. It is communicating that I'm not sure about my boundary. And so to try to make your statement as simple as possible. As simple as possible, not coming from a place of anxiety or insecurity, but I take breath and I speak it with clarity. And I speak it as being grounded in the truth of myself and what works for me, what is for the good, what is operating out of a place of truth and freedom. And it is going to be important that you give yourself permission to not engage when people are coming from a perspective of trying to pull you into negativity or trying to stress you out. So some of us get that in person where people will say something to start an argument, to start a debate, or online, people who don't even know you will write a statement trying to engage you, trying to disrupt you, trying to take your energy and your focus. And so I invite you to recognize the moments that are not even about disengaging, but not engaging to begin with, right? There are moments or seasons where I'm having an exchange with someone and I need to give myself permission to take the exit ramp, right? To not keep going back and forth, to leave the conversation. And there are times where that can be prevented and avoided by not taking the bait to begin with. That there are some exchanges that are not deserving or worthy of my energy. That when it will disrupt my peace to even respond to the foolishness, I give myself permission and freedom to not give everyone a response. I don't have to give everyone a piece of my mind. I don't have to seek for everyone to understand me or to approve of me. So we both give ourselves freedom to not engage in the very beginning. And if I have engaged, or perhaps based in prior relationship or connection, I feel that some response is required, which is fine. But I also tell myself the truth, which is a back and forth is unproductive. And so once I have said my piece, I have heard their concern, I no longer need to participate in this particular exchange or this particular conversation. I wonder if you can think about times in your life where you wish you had not taken the bait or you wish you had exited a conversation, a relationship sooner. We remember those experiences not to be buried in guilt or shame or embarrassment, but as a motivating factor to remind myself to trust myself, to follow that inner voice when it is speaking to me, speaking wisdom to me, so that I don't have to continue to repeat cycles and patterns, that I can trust myself and do something different this time, that I can trust myself when something feels off about a person's behavior or their approach or the way in which they are speaking to me. And then I want to share with you that it is important for your own healing and for your self-esteem to not make all manipulation or manipulators' behavior to be some indictment against you. Sometimes we take things personally, and it really is about the character of the person. When people are used to being controlling and manipulative, that is how they generally show up in every space, in every encounter, or in many encounters, and in many relationships. So it doesn't mean something terrible about you that someone is trying to manipulate you. It is revealing something about their inner process, their inner journey, and things they need to work on. But it does not mean that you are deserving of disrespect. It does not mean you are deserving of dishonor. The truth is, even when people have tried to manipulate you, even at that very moment, you were deserving of compassion. You were deserving of kindness. You were deserving of respect. And so their behavior is not a signal about your unworthiness. Their behavior is an indication of a healing journey that they have yet to complete. Perhaps they have not even started that healing journey, but it's not for you to do that work for them. That is their work to do. Your work is to continue to honor yourself and to treat yourself and your mind, body, heart, spirit with respect. And so I don't personalize it. I don't beat myself up about it. I recognize it for what it is, and the root of it is not about me. And then finally, I want to say it is so important to nourish healthy connections and healthy relationships as a reminder that they are possible and that you are deserving of them. If in the aftermath of manipulation, we isolate ourselves, we don't get to fully heal because we are still associating any connection with people as harmful, as hurtful, as violating. And that is an overgeneralization. The truth is that it is possible to have relationships. It is possible to have friendships. It is possible to engage with family members. It's possible to create community and not be dominated by manipulation. And so the way we discover that's possible is by building and nourishing and choosing healthy relationships and healthy interactions and expressing ourselves, communicating, and also listening. Because the truth of the matter is, while those of us who are listening may have been targeted by people who were attempting manipulation, it is also possible that those of us who are listening have also at some point attempted to manipulate someone else. So as we are thinking about not being drawn into that negative cycle, we also want to be intentional about the ways in which we respond to people, care for people, show up for people, so that we are healthy and free enough to not manipulate others or to not attempt to manipulate others. And so in this season of your life, I hope in addition to reclaiming yourself and reclaiming your heart, that you will reclaim or claim for the first time healthy relationships. I invite your soul to tell your heart, mind, body, and spirit, welcome home.